Good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo, on what is a rather pretty wet day. Joining me is Bandula Jayasekara. Very good morning to you.
Morning to you, Faraz.
We'll discuss how your journey into work this morning in a short moment, Bandula. And we're also joined by the former Test umpire, Ajit C.S. Pereira, who is an accessibility advisor now, and thank you very much for being on our show. Good morning and very warm welcome.
Good morning and Aiboan for all our viewers and
Yes.
to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you for getting up so early. You got up rather early this morning.
Yes,
To be
I got up at 1 o'clock with complete dedication.
Yes.
So because this was the very first time, so I must actually thank both of you for your foresight, and also Sirsa MTV institution, because this is the very first time that an opportunity has been given to talk about a very vital subject of national importance which no rule has yet seen. It is, in other words, which affects over 20% of the population. No sooner their abilities get snatched away, how they fall onto
You're talking about people with restricted ability.
Yes, because the plight of that one, no electronic media has ever given this opportunity. So this is the very first time that we get an opportunity to educate the knowledge to impart that understanding to the viewers.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of the group, we're grateful for your acknowledgement, but that's all part of the job. Tell me, can we just touch on a bit of the weather, Bandula?
Yeah.
150 years, the Colombo Municipal Council, they had a wonderfully expensive tamasha.
And they're continuing with the tamashas.
They're continuing with this tamasha.
Spending millions of rupees.
Yes, and it's clear from the flooded roads and so on that His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Muzammil, is clearly missing the indisputed or undisputed abilities, the can-do abilities of the former Defence Secretary who was in charge of the UDA, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Whether you like it or not, he has beautified Colombo and he got lots of things done. But obviously, Mr. Muzammil
And the so-called city fathers.
The so-called city fathers can't be done. But you very nearly didn't make it to work.
Yeah,
this
because
morning.
the roads are flooded. Water has gone into the car. The car stopped about 6 times. It's greatest difficult to coming here at 4 o'clock. So it's not only, I saw so many cars stalled at that time. Most of the roads are blocked, so flooded.
Yeah.
And these people even have blocked this municipal road, I think millions of rupees. And you can see the newspapers and celebrating, giving themselves awards.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, but there's no.
They ought to spend the money better by actually getting things done.
Yeah, so this is really, this is what I think for us, people should put pressure on them. Tell them they're answerable, they're accountable to these things.
Perhaps if Mr. Muzammil can't deliver, perhaps he should go back to Kahawat and live there.
Yeah, definitely. And I would not only blame Mr. Muzammil, all these people.
But you must accept responsibility, because if you are who you are,
and I don't think we should call them His Worship anymore.
No, he can't be. How can we worship him when he can't get the roads right?
Definitely.
And so, the point is, when you seek election, you automatically get accountability and responsibility on your shoulders. You can't take them away. You can't be doing this because it's one shot. Okay? You can't be doing that. So, if he can't take the responsibility, if the kitchen's too hot, he can leave.
And for us,
and maybe he should get Rosie to come in.
People are suffering. I'm sure Rosie will do a good job.
So on that little grouse and gripe, let's move on to Ajit C.S. Pereira.
He had faced situations in Dehiwala, he was telling me.
Indeed, yes.
Because
all your roads
just hop, step and jump from the Dehiwala Municipal Council, and this is the worst area for dengue. But we don't have proper canals or proper drainage systems. Whatever the drainage are there, it's not being cleaned properly. So it is overflowing, and for the very first time, after 40 years, week back, our house was almost flooded.
Which road do you live on?
Arthur's Place, Devala.
Arthur's Place. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I know.
And what is Dhanasiri Amaratunga doing? Just playing politics in Devala Mount Lavinia. He's
Mr. Dhanasiri Amaratunga, you have a taxpayer who you need to answer. And Kesarlal, who was on our show the other day. Please take note.
In fact, actually, I met Kesarlal the other day and I was mentioning him the plight, but no action yet had been taken.
But I must say that after he came on our show, certain things have happened in the Mount Lavinia area, which people are attributing to the show.
generally because we are the people's channel. I mean, we are voice.
We are the people's channel. We are the opposition. Tell me, Mr. Pereira, you were former Test umpire. When did you start?
I started in 1975, and then that was the era hardly any teams were coming into Sri Lanka. So I grabbed that opportunity. I knew I had to get professionally qualified and more experienced if I am to make any worthy contribution to this game, the game that we loved. So I spent my own money, went to England to qualify professionally, and I became the first person to qualify professionally from England. That is in 1985.
And so which is the first test match that you umpired?
That was the era hardly any teams were coming here because of these problems, and the first team to come was Australia in 1992, followed by New Zealand in November. So myself and Peter Manuel were the two new people appointed to the test match panel. Went to the cricket board on the 10th of November, got the letter, and I was asked to come on the 12th of November to get the duty leave and all the other things. Went gleefully to get the letter, got the letter to my hand, was proceeding to meet my mum and dad. Within minutes, one of those huge trees, again a problem with the municipality, not maintaining old trees properly, came down crashing on my moving car to kill my driver and instantly making me a paraplegic, paralyzed below waist for life.
And so you didn't even get that opportunity to umpire a test match?
It was so close yet so far. Yes.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear that. I actually thought that it happened thereafter.
No, with that meaning. But what saddens me is that even a test venue, match international sports venue, is certainly beyond our accessibility. So ICC pumps so much of money to upgrade these facilities, yet Sri Lanka, even the sports stadia, it is exclusion, marginalization.
Do you have you been to the say this Premadasa Stadium? Have you been there?
Yes, I have been to Premadasa Stadium. I have been to SSC. Yes, what matters most is the toilets, because this game being 6 hours, 7 hours, and remember, it's a spectator sport. Aging population, they are the people who are prepared to spend even one day, but their main grievance, which I really agree, is absence of even a toilet where they can go into. So accessibility is again, even at international sports stadia, are being overlooked, as a result of which again opportunities are lost. And when somebody was telling me they would have loved to see the final inning of Kumar Sangakkara, but they were denied of this opportunity. So that is what
Where was that, the final innings? Was that the
Pisara Stadium?
Or the Sarat?
Yes. So even there, it is exclusion. Not only in sports, every field in life.
Is that because the people don't care, can't care, won't care, or is it because they're simply not informed well enough?
Yes, they fail. Of course, it is the attitudes problem. It has to be set properly from the top itself. The leaders, they have to see this as a national problem of exclusion.
But with some of these people, and you know, we're back to the same mantra, because this mantra is Dharmadasa Sumitipala, Ranatunga Dharmadasa, and all the way again. And the Vetimunis, as
Gunasekara is always in the interim committee.
Yes, they're all in the interim committee. So the rulers, the elite, are the Sumitipalas, the Dharmadasa, and the Ranatungas. So
and Vettamuni and
Gunasekara. And so on. So now the thing is that for example, Jayanta Dharmadasa runs a very successful medical institution, and I'm pretty sure that there are accessibility and access in that institution.
No, what I am saying is that I was just telling Bandula, even for that matter, none of the private sector hospitals have a proper accessible toilet in any ward. And more and more, what you see is more and more hospitals coming up. That means more and more people are affected with accidents, debilitating conditions. That means their ability has been robbed. So even your right to use a toilet has been denied.
What about the malls in this country? What about
same.
MC and so on?
The main thing is the toilets. Now, somebody may even lift you up and you are able to get in, but then thereafter maneuvering your area, your way, restaurants, the toilets, those are the things that excludes.
Cinemas.
So once more, yes.
Exactly.
So once more, this is the sort of thing that the local municipality should insist upon before giving them signing off any building
or the UDA.
For that matter, this has been unanimously agreed in the Parliament on 2007, March 20th, regarding this accessibility. Then since nothing was turning or happening, I have to go to the Supreme Court, the country's apex court. Today, the situation is, even an order given by the Supreme Court, there's no mechanism to get it implemented and enforced. As a result of which, in every aspect of life, whether it is education, employment, recreation, tourism, hospitality industry, sports stadium, places of religious worship, it is the way, because nothing happens under the trees, it is always getting into a building, going out. So
it's very interesting also for us what he said, even the religious places, temples, mosques, covils, nothing.
People who come for observing still, they are the elderly people, most of them. What they say is that
under which ministry would all this?
Each and every ministry, it is their responsibility. Wherever, whoever puts up a building, they have to see the money that we spend. Are we excluding people? Are we causing certain hardships? Are we causing safety hazards? So it is their thinking, because moment it is a huge sector that is increasing. Already 20% are affected. So are we able to afford to overlook this increasing sector? There are any businesses potential base of customers. So can we afford at a time when the competition is so high?
Ajit, have you made representation to President Maithripala Sirisena?
Yes.
You do that?
Yes. When he was the Minister of Health, he was one of the he was the chief guest at one of the big programs that we had at Taj Samudra.
Yes, but now that he is President of the country, he will have far more power at his disposal.
Yes, but
have you lobbied him for this?
But how can we approach him? No, you can assured him.
He's quite good at this.
I know, but remember, they get hundreds of letters. But how can we make sure that it reaches?
We have given you a forum, Sirasa, our network.
Yes, the Prime Minister, the President, and all the other leaders, if they can recognize exclusion is economically, socially, and also human rights.
Is there an association of people?
Mushroom number of organizations, but most of them have hidden agendas, money making. They are good speakers, talkers, but poor doers. So as a result of which, nothing happens. Because unless there is action, nothing can change.
Faraz,
can we, let's come back. This is time for a break. Do stay tuned to Newsline. We'll be back with you very shortly. Welcome back to Newsline from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo. We're talking about the accessibility for people with who have restricted abilities. Some people call them differently abled, perhaps incorrectly. But let me ask you, in terms of mobility, are there any concessions that you get in terms of, say, a duty-free permit? Can you import a car that is specially made up to handle the disabled. If you import such a car, is it duty free?
No, it is no duty free, no concessions, nothing at all. But
That's awful.
That's definitely, yeah.
Isn't that awful?
I'm glad you brought it up, because
yes, because we have, and Mr. Karunaka, the finance minister, told us on that show on the hot seat a couple of weeks ago that he took a bit of umbrage that I was only asking about the MPs. Well, I'm not asking only about the MPs. I'm asking about everyone, anyone, and everyone. We all should be equal. And in this case, in the case of the people who have got restricted ability, it's disgraceful that members of Parliament get a concession, members of the SLS get concessions, doctors. So what about the teachers, and what about the armed forces, and what about the differently abled?
And they say, they're treated badly, they are third class citizens. I think this is a very important thing which you brought up.
That's right. You said that people who have restricted movement have become third class citizens in this country. But what about, I want to ask, in that case, Bandula, can you hazard a guess? Who is the first class citizen and who is the second class citizen?
Politicians are the so-called first class, even though they belong, they say they are first
and the
class.
people are second class.
You and I are second class.
The Mahajanathawa.
Mahajanathawa.
Right. Well, what do you have to say about that, Mr.
We represent the third class.
Yes, because what they have to recognize is that ability is only a temporary given asset. Any moment, accidents, illnesses, debilitating conditions like arthritis, back problems, so many things that you cannot say, can rob definitely with aging. And we are heading towards 18% of the population over 65 years. Restricted ability. The moment that your ability gets restricted, think of anything. Going to a cinema, as he said, going to a cricket match, place of education, place of employment, even travel trade, even the hotels trade we talk of, we have yet not known anything about accessible tourism even. And for that matter, as I said earlier, even making use of a toilet in the private sector hospitals
can be challenging.
For us also, you remember that we had a Prime Minister, Mrs. Bandaranayake. Wasn't she on a wheelchair?
She was on a wheelchair
when she was the Prime Minister. And also a former Minister, I think, Amarasiri Dodangoda. Also.
Yes.
But nothing has happened.
Yes.
No.
So they
We've
are
been
again
stuck in a time warp.
So we still continue to look in a sympathetic manner, where we need to accept the fact what they need is empowerment with opportunity, rather than getting restricted on depending on others. So here, even the social services, what we think is not empowerment. Even this year's international theme was people with all abilities, empowering them through accessibility. So we are not thinking of empowering them, giving productive opportunities, openings for the necessities of day-to-day life.
It's a jolly good thing that you come on our show in this particular week, because the cricket is the religion in this country, over and above all other religions, and therefore with these cricket board elections coming up, perhaps we can. The candidates are listening in on this program. We as we do know, they do listen. And maybe they will make a commitment to spending a little bit more of those monies on accessibility, upgrading the facilities for the differently abled or the people with restricted abilities.
I know ICC puts a lot of money to improve the infrastructure, but what I am amazed is that even the ICC, why they are not thinking of the basic facilities, whether they meet these basic standards like accessible toilets, accessible refreshment areas, accessible seating, because even a spectator who would have purchased a ticket even today or tomorrow, just before a match, for short time even, with a broken arm or broken leg, can get restricted. But then where is his right to go and see that match? So not only that is where, not only in sports, in all fields.
Who
it
was
is
the
exclusion.
who was the chairman of the or the president of the Board of Control at the time of your unfortunate accident?
It was in 1992. I think the late minister,
Gamini
the minister,
Dissanayake.
no, not Gamini Dissanayake.
They repeat you?
No,
Who was the chairman of the cricket board then?
I think Jayantha Parnathala. Jayantha
I see.
Parnathala, yes.
Right. Well,
And of course, no compensation, nothing. Say, umpire goes to
did you sue the municipal council? Did you take legal action against them?
because that was the time that we were battling for our life, for our survival in the hospitals.
Yes.
And what the municipal council said, this is the baby of the highways department, and the highways says it's the municipality. Ultimately, it becomes nobody's baby.
It's called passing the buck.
Exact, and this is not only today, even recently. Falling trees. This must be the only country where in the city, capital city, still falling trees is a threat to your life and safety. Beautification is one thing, but maintaining for safety, maintenance of these ancient trees is
And
very
also,
vital.
as what he says is correct. They pass the buck always.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll say UDA, then highways. They always, we need answers.
Are you prepared to extend an invitation to Mr. Muzammil to come on your show?
But I'm wondering whether it's worth it. Our airtime is more precious.
Indeed.
We have had him, but I don't think, maybe we should have the people who suffered asking questions from Mr. Muzammil. We should put him on the firing line. That's
Indeed.
right.
That might be a thought. And
And municipal council are the people who are giving certificates of conformity, ignoring the court orders.
that's
for
right. And this
compliance
is a,
with
it's a Supreme
regulations.
Court order.
Supreme Court, that is the apex court of this country.
Right.
So it says it is mandatory and it is a punishable, serious punishable offence. That is the wording of the Supreme Court. To ignore these court orders when giving COCs to the new buildings or buildings that are renovated. So many new hospitals, so many new hotels coming up, but nothing complies with these basic standards. So as a result of which, economically, socially, a grave social problem.
And how do you envisage trying to solve this or going towards solving it?
Of course, we need the support of the top leaders. They have to set an example. They must realize this is a national issue because 20% aging population is increasing, human rights image. So we talk of the dignity, the social responsibility, yahapalani, but can we, no, even the constitutional protection that we think of, what does the Constitution say?
And indeed, talking about first class, second class and third class citizens, the former president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, will be the best person to talk about restricted abilities, because now that he's no more the president, he doesn't have, for example, the media at his disposal and or the helicopters, so there is a restricted movement ability there. And therefore, life is so sudden. He, more than anyone else, knows that what 1 minute you can have it, and a few votes later, and hours later, you're back home in Medamululu, where there is probably no disabled access there either. So in the context of that, perhaps you should lobby the legislators in
But
this
also,
country.
for us, sometimes you feel that who are the real differently able people? Maybe the politicians, they're blind,
Yeah.
they're deaf. I think
Yeah.
they are the real differently
The
able
people
people.
who
Indeed.
cannot really hear what the people cry for, people who cannot see what the people's needs are, they are the people who are really deaf and blind.
Indeed, indeed.
And nothing is permanent in life. Anything can happen, and ability is just only a temporary asset that you and I enjoy. It can be snatched away any moment. Then what is the plight? So as a country, developing country, we cannot afford exclusion, marginalization, loss of opportunities, unwanted dependency.
Well, our dear Prime Minister is committed to a new form of governance, good governance. So perhaps you ought to write to the Prime Minister.
We are thinking of mega cities, port cities, but can we afford exclusion? We are thinking of promoting tourism as something that will enhance our human rights image, but it is even in hotels, 5-star, even we are thinking of 6 stars, even a toilet, wash facilities, no one to assess those facilities.
Maybe for us, Muzammil might have to give him a boat to go to Temple Trees today.
Indeed.
Yeah, a
Indeed.
small boat at least.
Indeed. Well, Mr. Pereira, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to be on the show, and we look forward to assisting in whichever way we can.
I hope the viewers will take this one, because any moment they could be in this plight. What needs to be done? What can you do after hearing this message? That's the most important thing. Without
Indeed.
action, nothing happens.
Indeed. Once more, thank you very much, and Bandhu, thank you. I hope you managed to get home today, and that the floods have receded by the time you leave. And talking about change,
about tomorrow's guest sighting.
Tomorrow, talking about change and not change of the cricket board, tomorrow we have the man who was heading the border control for cricket in Sri Lanka, Anna Punchiheva, the man who was at the helm when we won that World Cup in the heady days of 1996.
And Adi is breaking his about 17-year-old
He's breaking a 17-year-old silence to be on our show, an exclusive interview with Anna Punchiheva. Don't miss it. Don't be square. In the meantime, thank you for viewing and take care.